Hi there, welcome back to Dave's Desk as we continue looking at some questions. Today's question is, what does experiencing God in our lives actually mean? And I guess the range of answers to that is quite broad. For me, the ways in which I've experienced God are also quite broad. I've experienced God in moments of grief, as a stillness and a calmness, a sense of peace. I guess I would describe it as being in a crowded room full of the shouting voices of my anxieties, when quietness descends and those voices are hushed, not because I did anything or attributed anything to it, but just it seemed like God moved into that place and quiet those yelling voices. I've experienced God as an emotional response to other people's needs, an awareness of others' brokenness and a shared experience of that brokenness, of feeling my heart broken for people who I knew needed God but knew they didn't know it, and just capturing something of God's love for them and the sense in which His heart is broken for them, even more than mine ever could be. And I've experienced God by being able to do things that I never thought I would be able to. I'm quite impressively dyslexic. The last time it was accurately measured, I think my reading age was 14. It was estimated when I was at university that my reading speed was half that of the average of my cohort, and so I was offered 50% extra time. Would have meant getting up very early in the morning. But I have a job where I have to do a lot of reading, and I have to stand in front of crowds of people and read, and sometimes I have to read the Book of Common Prayer, which, if you're not familiar with it, was written in the 17th century, and language that's difficult, but I'm able to do it. And for me, that's an experience of God working through me. He called me to this role, to do this job, and as such I need to be able to read, and so when the time comes, He lets me read. And for me, those are all ways in which I've experienced God. They're not the totality of the ways in which we can experience God, but I find the more that I open myself up to Him working in me and through me, the more I'm aware of my experiences of being used by Him. And I hope that you also have got stories of how God has worked in you and through you, of how you've experienced His ministry in your life and through you into the lives of others. And if you wouldn't know how to answer that question of what does experiencing God actually mean, if you can't look back on your life and think, oh yeah, I experienced God then I'd encourage you to talk with Christian friends about that, because they may know of times when you've been God to them, when they've experienced God through you, and they would be able to encourage you. And if you're still drawing a blank, then I think it needs to be just time between you and God in prayer, saying, Lord, I want to know what it's like to experience your presence. I want to meet with you. And it might be that you meet with God in a quiet place, it might be you meet with God in a busy place, you might meet with Him reading the Bible or watching the telly one Sunday afternoon. But I would encourage you to come before God if that's something that's troubling you. Anyway, thank you for joining us today. I hope to see you again soon. Goodbye.